If you think wearing a French maid outfit is just about putting on a dress and looking cute, you're about to discover why almost everyone gets it completely wrong. The biggest mistake beginners make happens before they even touch the outfit, and it's the reason so many transformations feel incomplete. By the end of this story, you'll understand the small details that separate someone who is simply wearing a costume from someone who truly embodies the elegance, confidence, and discipline of the classic French maid aesthetic. Stay with me, because the final lesson is the one that changes everything. Before the first hint of sunrise touched the windows, the alarm rang. There was no dramatic music, no glamorous entrance, and no magical transformation waiting in front of the mirror. Just silence, determination, and a simple decision. Today wasn't about pretending to be someone else. Today was about learning how confidence is built through preparation, patience, and attention to detail. The first lesson started before getting dressed. Slow your breathing. Relax your shoulders. Stand tall. Most people focus entirely on clothes, but posture changes the entire impression before anyone notices the outfit. Walk across the room naturally. Then do it again with your shoulders back, your chin level, and your steps controlled. The difference feels small, but it completely changes how you present yourself. The room was still dark as every item was carefully placed in order. The dress wasn't thrown on in a rush. Every piece had a purpose. Organization creates confidence because it removes hesitation. When you know where everything belongs, your movements become smoother, calmer, and more graceful. The next lesson surprised almost everyone. Never rush the transformation. Excitement often makes beginners skip the foundation. Skin preparation, grooming, and neat presentation matter far more than expensive accessories. A simple outfit worn with care almost always looks better than an expensive outfit worn carelessly. As daylight slowly approached, the mirror became more than a reflection. It became a teacher. Instead of asking, "Do I look perfect?" ask a different question. What can I improve by just 1%? Maybe it's standing straighter. Maybe it's relaxing your hands. Maybe it's slowing your walk. Tiny improvements repeated every day create dramatic changes over time. Now came one of the hardest parts: walking. Many people believe graceful walking means taking tiny steps or exaggerating movement. It doesn't. Real elegance comes from balance and rhythm. Imagine a line extending straight ahead. Walk naturally, without rushing. Let each step finish before the next begins. Keep unnecessary movements to a minimum. Suddenly, the entire appearance feels more polished without looking forced. Then came another unexpected lesson. Hands tell a story. Nervous hands constantly adjust clothing, touch hair, or fidget without realizing it. Calm hands communicate confidence. Rest them naturally. Move them only when there's a reason. Practice holding simple objects with care instead of gripping them tightly. Even something as ordinary as placing a cup on a table can become smoother with mindful practice. The first rays of sunlight finally entered the room, revealing details that weren't visible before. That wasn't a problem. It was an opportunity. Natural light exposes everything, making it the best teacher. Instead of hiding imperfections, use them as feedback. Every small adjustment makes the next transformation even stronger. The next exercise seemed almost too simple. Smile without forcing it. A natural expression changes your entire face more than complicated techniques ever will. Confidence doesn't always come from looking flawless. Often it comes from feeling comfortable enough to stop worrying about every tiny detail. Then came voice practice. Not changing who you are, but learning control. Speak a little slower. Finish every sentence completely. Avoid rushing your words. A calm voice naturally feels more elegant because confidence rarely sounds hurried. Whether your voice stays exactly the same or you experiment with different tones, clarity and composure always make the biggest difference. Another lesson arrived that almost nobody talks about. Confidence isn't built in front of strangers. It's built during private practice when nobody is watching. Every minute spent improving your posture, movements, organization, and self-awareness creates habits that eventually become effortless. Hours weren't necessary. Consistency was. The training continued with simple everyday tasks. Straightening a chair. folding fabric carefully, keeping personal space organized. These weren't random chores. They trained patience and attention to detail. The goal wasn't perfection. The goal was developing habits that naturally reflected care and discipline in everything you did. As the morning became brighter, something unexpected happened. The mirror no longer felt intimidating. Instead of searching for flaws, it started reflecting progress. That change didn't happen because of expensive clothing or dramatic makeup. It happened because confidence was slowly replacing self-doubt. And that's when the biggest realization appeared. The outfit was never the true transformation. The mindset was. Most people spend hours searching for better clothes while ignoring posture, movement, attitude, and consistency. Yet those invisible skills are exactly what make every outfit look better. Once you understand that, every practice session becomes more rewarding because you're improving something that no accessory can replace. I'll continue seamlessly in the next part, keeping the same flowing style and building curiosity all the way to the ending. The next challenge looked easy until it actually began. Stand in front of the mirror for 5 full minutes without adjusting a single thing. No fixing the apron. No touching your hair. No pulling at the sleeves. Just stand naturally and observe. At first, it feels uncomfortable. Your eyes immediately search for flaws. Your mind starts listing everything that seems imperfect. But after a minute, something changes. You stop looking for mistakes and start noticing habits. Maybe one shoulder sits higher than the other. Maybe your weight always shifts to one leg. Maybe your hands never know where to rest. Those little discoveries become the real lessons because they reveal what you never noticed before. Then came balance. Not balance like walking on a rope, but balance in movement. Every graceful motion begins before the body moves. Pause for half a second. Decide where you're going. Then move with intention. Rushing creates awkwardness. Purpose creates elegance. Watch experienced performers, models, or dancers, and you'll notice they rarely appear rushed. Even fast movements seem controlled because every action has a beginning, a middle, and an end. The training continued with something almost everyone overlooks: breathing. Nervous breathing makes every movement look tense. Slow, steady breathing naturally relaxes the shoulders, softens facial expressions, and makes posture easier to maintain. It's impossible to appear calm while breathing like you're running a race. Before every practice session, take a slow breath, relax, and begin again. As the morning continued, another surprising lesson appeared. Stop comparing yourself to people online. The internet shows highlights, perfect lighting, edited photos, and years of experience compressed into a few seconds. If you compare your first steps to someone else's 1,000th practice session, you'll always feel behind. Compare yourself only to yesterday's version of yourself. That's the comparison that actually leads to growth. The next exercise involves something simple: sitting down. It sounds ridiculous until you realize how often people drop into a chair without thinking. Instead, approach slowly. Turn carefully, keep your posture relaxed, and sit with control. Stand up the same way. Smooth movements don't happen automatically. They're practiced until they become natural. Then came cleaning and presentation. The French Maid image has always represented precision and attention to detail. A wrinkle left in the apron. Dust on shoes. Loose threads. These tiny details often catch the eye before the overall outfit does. Developing the habit of checking the little things creates a polished appearance without spending more money. One notebook sat nearby with a single question written at the top of each page. What improved today? Not what failed. Not what looked wrong. Only what improved. Some days the answer was posture. Other days it was walking, organization, confidence, or simply feeling less nervous than yesterday. Progress recorded becomes progress remembered. As sunlight filled every corner of the room, practice shifted away from appearance entirely. Confidence was tested by ordinary situations. Could you carry yourself calmly while making breakfast? Could you organize your space without becoming distracted? Could you stay patient when something didn't go perfectly? Those everyday moments revealed far more about confidence than standing in front of a mirror ever could. Another important discovery came unexpectedly. Perfection is exhausting. Consistency is powerful. Waiting until everything is perfect often means never beginning at all. Practicing imperfectly every day builds more skill than practicing perfectly once a month. That's why discipline quietly defeats motivation over time. The mirror reflected someone who looked almost the same as they had before sunrise, yet everything felt different. The difference wasn't measured in makeup or clothing. It was measured in comfort. Standing felt easier. Walking required less thought. Smiling came naturally. Small improvements had quietly combined into noticeable confidence. The final exercise before ending the morning was surprisingly difficult. Walk away from the mirror. Many beginners spend so much time checking their appearance that they forget the goal isn't to impress the reflection. The goal is to feel comfortable without constantly seeking reassurance. Real confidence follows you after you leave the mirror behind. One last cup of tea sat untouched as the room grew brighter. Looking around, every object seemed to tell the same story. The neatly folded apron, the organized shoes, the carefully prepared space. None of it happened by accident. Every detail reflected a habit built through repetition rather than talent. And that's when the biggest lesson finally became clear. French maid training never truly begins with the outfit. It begins with discipline before anyone is watching. It begins before sunrise, when excuses are quiet, distractions are asleep, and the only person judging your effort is you. That's where confidence grows. That's where elegance is practiced. That's where transformation becomes real. So, if you're beginning your own journey, don't chase perfection. Chase progress. Practice one small improvement today. Repeat it tomorrow. Then repeat it again the day after. Months from now, people may compliment the outfit, the presentation, or the confidence, but you'll know the truth. None of it started with the dress. It started with a simple decision made before the sun came up, to show up, to learn, and to become a little better than yesterday. That's the secret most people never discover, and now it's yours. Nobody expected the next lesson to be the hardest, because it had nothing to do with the outfit at all. It was about patience. Anyone can feel excited on the first day. Anyone can spend hours getting every detail just right once. The real challenge is showing up again tomorrow with the same commitment, even when no one is watching and there are no compliments waiting. That is where real improvement begins. The next morning started the same way. Before checking the mirror, before thinking about appearance, there was a simple routine. Organize the room. Fold yesterday's clothes neatly. Clean the shoes. Prepare everything before getting dressed. It seemed ordinary, but repeating this process created a calm mindset. When your surroundings are organized, your thoughts become organized too. Instead of asking, "How do I look today?" the question became, "What can I practice today?" Some days focused entirely on posture. Other days were dedicated to walking with smooth, confident steps. On another day, the goal was simply maintaining a relaxed smile while moving naturally around the room. Breaking big goals into small daily challenges made progress feel achievable. Then came a surprising exercise. Record yourself walking across the room without watching the screen. Wait an hour before looking at the recording. When people watch themselves immediately, emotions often get in the way. Giving yourself time allows you to observe more objectively. Instead of criticizing every detail, notice one thing that improved and one thing that could become smoother. Small observations lead to steady growth. As the days passed, confidence slowly replaced hesitation. The movements that once felt awkward became automatic. Standing tall no longer required constant reminders. Hands rested naturally instead of fidgeting. Walking felt lighter because every step had been practiced with intention. Another lesson changed everything. Elegance isn't about moving slowly. It's about moving deliberately. Whether reaching for a chair, opening a door, or adjusting an apron, every action looks more polished when it's done with purpose instead of rushing. Slowing down your decisions, not necessarily your speed, creates a sense of confidence that others immediately notice. Soon, friends began asking an unexpected question. What changed? They couldn't always explain it. Sometimes the outfit was exactly the same as before, yet something felt different. The answer wasn't hidden in expensive accessories or perfect styling. It was hidden in consistency. Confidence had quietly become visible through posture, eye contact, calm expressions, and comfortable movement. One evening, while reviewing old photos from the beginning of the journey, the transformation became obvious. The clothing had changed only a little, but the person wearing it had changed completely. The nervous expression had disappeared. The shoulders were straighter. The smile looked genuine instead of forced. The difference wasn't created in a single day. It was built through dozens of small improvements that hardly seemed important at the time. That realization brought one final lesson. Never underestimate tiny habits. Spending 5 extra minutes practicing posture, keeping your space organized, or paying attention to simple details may not feel exciting today, but those habits compound over weeks and months. Eventually, they become part of who you are. As the next sunrise filled the room with light, the morning routine no longer felt like training. It felt natural. There was no rush to become perfect and no pressure to impress anyone. The focus had shifted entirely toward enjoying the process of learning and expressing personal style with confidence. Looking back, it became clear that the biggest transformation had never been about clothing. It was about discipline, patience, and self-respect. The outfit simply became a symbol of the work that happened behind the scenes. Every early morning, every careful practice session, and every small improvement added another piece to the journey. If there's one lesson worth remembering, it's this. Confidence is never something you buy, and it never appears overnight. It's built through repetition, curiosity, and the willingness to keep learning. Whether you're exploring fashion, cosplay, theatrical performance, or simply developing your own sense of style, the same principle always applies. Start with the basics, improve one detail at a time, and let consistency do the rest. The next time the alarm rings before sunrise, don't think of it as another ordinary morning. Think of it as another opportunity to become just a little more comfortable, a little more confident, and a little more skilled than you were yesterday. Those small steps may seem invisible in the moment, but one day you'll look back and realize they created a transformation far greater than you ever imagined. This continues the story in a non-sexual, fashion and confidence direction. If you want a full 10,000 character version, continue the story over several more parts in the same style.